Hello and welcome to Play Talk Repeat for this, our review of Stray. So Stray came out, was it yesterday? Yesterday?
Yesterday.
It was
19.
the 19th of July 2022, yesterday. And we've all blasted through it and we're ready to give our thoughts on it. So can we start with some opening statements, please? Let's go with Lewis first. Go for it.
Um, the game definitely lived up to what I was expecting. The game was announced obviously quite a while ago. I think like 2 years ago. Maybe even longer than that. And then they just sort of went silent on it. But I think the game was a very fun experience. It's an experience you'd expect from is it Annapurna? Um,
Yes.
they've made stuff like uh, Outer Wilds, What Remains of Edith Finch, some other stuff I can't think of right now, but it's the sort of game you'd expect from them. But I think it's very unique. It's very fun, and I definitely recommend that people play it.
What score would you give it?
If I was going to give it a score, I'd probably give it like an 8.
An A. Okay,
Yeah.
Alex.
Good score, good score.
No,
No, I really enjoyed my time with the game. It's exactly what I expected with the game, just a cat simulator. Like everyone likes cats. Well, not everyone, but you always want to like with these types of games, you want to be immersed with the game, and it made me feel like I was actually like the cat, which I really liked. All the environments and everything looked amazing. And if you have the new PS Plus, you basically get it for free. So there's
Yeah.
no like, there's no excuse not to play it if you've got the new PS Plus because it's only what 5 hours long. Everyone be it like around 5 hours. Yeah, smashing game. 7 out of 10. I gave
7
it.
out of 10. So I'm gonna go slightly lower. My score is a 6 out of 10. So it's a great cat simulator, but I just don't think it's a massively fun game. The story didn't really resonate with me in any way. The some people have called it a platformer, but it's not. It's not a platformer because no skill is required in getting from
I
A
mean,
to
I think
B.
it's a platformer in the same way that Assassin's Creed is a platformer. You just
Yeah,
hold X and it jumps at the wall.
But see, with Assassin's Creed, there's the you have to aim at what you're going for and then jump. With this, it's everything's prompted. An X appears on the screen and tells you, right, you can jump here, and if that X doesn't appear, you can't jump. Whereas Assassin's Creed, you can just jump out into a void. I won't say Assassin's Creed is a platformer either, but it's more of a platformer than Stray is. It's fine. Like Alex says, it's on PS Plus. It's worth playing, definitely. That's why I gave it a 6 out of 10. It's definitely above average, but it's not. I wanted more out of it. I guess I don't know what exactly I wanted, but I wanted more out of it. So, Lewis, since you gave it the highest score, what were your favorite parts about the game?
Um, I mean, first of all, just the general concept, the idea of the game is incredibly unique. We've never had, as far as I know anyway, we've never had a game that actually has done anything like this, which I really appreciate. I feel like a lot of games at the moment are very oversaturated, with the same ideas and same mechanics being like regurgitated and recycled constantly. So I think it's definitely like an incredibly nice change of pace. Um, and the idea they chose for the game in general is just very, very fun. I feel like a lot of people were going to always like this game or going to be interested in this game just because of the idea that you were a cat. And I don't know, that's just a very fun idea for some reason. Like I remember when this trailer first got announced and shown, um, like everyone reacted the same way. They're like, "Holy shit, you're a cat! You can be a cat!" And I don't know why everyone is so like infatuated with the idea of playing as a cat, but like, it's definitely something that a lot of people experience, and I was one of those people, and I think it definitely delivered. I also really just enjoyed the story. I think it was a nice, small, contained story with a nice message. Um, you say you didn't enjoy the story that much. I won't get into it too much now because we'll probably talk about it more later. But I definitely feel like I gained a lot of the story and I cared a lot more about what was happening due to me collecting all the memories of B12. I think that added a lot to the game and added a lot to like the whole overarching message of the game. Because I also made sure to talk to like every single person throughout the thing. You didn't have to at all, but I made sure to meet every single NPC. Even in the later half of the game, in the second city where there's a lot of people, I made sure to speak to every single person and go through all the dialogue choices. So maybe the story was a bit enhanced a bit more for me just due to that. I'm not saying to enjoy the game you need to 100% it, but I definitely feel like it helps a lot in just like the overall world building. And considering 100% in the game only takes about 5 hours, I definitely think it's worth your time to just go the 100% route instead of doing what Oliver did and just going for like beelining through the main story. Because the way I said it to Alex is that even though Oliver did the main story, I feel like you're missing out on the entire story if you just don't do the extra stuff. And it doesn't really add much playtime to it, so I don't see why people wouldn't do it. So I'd say those are my two favorite things, really, just the mechanics and the story. The music was also pretty good in most parts. And visually, the game looked incredible. It's one of the best looking PS5 games I've played for sure. I think that helps because it's a game made for PS5. And it isn't a PS4 plus size PS5 game from what I understand, right?
It's
just
no,
PS5.
it's a PS4 game as
it's a
well.
PS4 as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it looks incredible. It looks incredibly good on PS5. And I'm sure it looks just as good on PC as well. Yeah, that's sort of everything really. I just think it was like a nice culmination of a lot of different things. I think at the end of the day, you said it was labeled as a platform. I think it's mostly just labeled to me as a walking simulator.
Yeah, no, it wasn't labeled as a platform. It's just people have been labeling it a platform, and not necessarily the people who made the game.
Yeah,
just people who are reviewing it.
To me, it was like it was a walking simulator pretty much through and through, with a couple extra lesser mechanics thrown in there. Which I'm not against. Some of those games I like, some I don't. This one definitely vibed with me a lot more. Again, I think it was just due to the concept of what the game was, seeing the game from a perspective we never see, and also just the world itself. I just think was built very well, and it was just a nice little contained story overall. Really.
It was great world building and stuff like that. I'd say if you're saying like I'm missing the story because I'm not getting the collectibles and stuff, I'd say that's a weakness of the game rather than a weakness of me. Kind of thing. It's if you miss it, if you like you're saying I'm missing a big chunk of the story by not doing it. I mean that's like, let's say using a game off the top of the dome piece like BioShock kind of thing. You get the main story just from being in the story, but then you get little side bits from the tape recordings.
But I'm not disagreeing that you don't get story from this if you just play the main thing. You still get the story. I just think it's a lot more impactful when you go out of your way to experience the town and the people in it and speak to them and just see what they're all like vibing with and stuff. Because a lot of the characters have like their own like little unique stories going on or memories of stuff that happened, or things they want to achieve and stuff. And I don't know, I just feel like it adds a lot to the game just in general.
Yeah.
And I don't usually go out of my way in these sorts of games, usually to do all the extra stuff, just because I don't really care about reading dialogue a lot of the time. But because it was so short and I knew that going in, I didn't really mind doing it. I wasn't overly against it.
Yeah, well, I guess it's got to do it in a way because we've all got different perspectives. It's just interesting to see the score has gone down the less times that you spent with the game, kind of thing between the three of us. So, Alex, your favorite parts of the game?
Touching on what Lewis said about the music, did anyone else get like Mario Galaxy vibes from the music? Like, because some of the songs in it felt like it was from Mario Galaxy. I don't know if like I was the only one that thought that.
It's very atmospheric kind of thing, and it like creates a sense of loneliness kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Specifically for me, one of the tracks was when it came on. I don't remember which chapter it was, but it specifically reminded me of Ratchet and Clank. It was super Ratchet and Clanky. But the music overall, honestly, that track was kind of an outlier. The music overall, was very atmospheric, like Oliver said. I don't know if there was a lot of standouts that I can like think of, but like overall, it was just nice to listen to, and I think it really matched the vibe and aesthetic of what was going on, like really, really well.
Yeah.
So,
I was just going to talk about me.
Hit us with it. Go on.
Oh, right, okay. I'm just trying to think of like my main like favorite points because most of the game felt pretty much the same. I did enjoy like doing like my collectibles and stuff. I just wish there was more to like collect, if that makes any more sense. Like, why isn't there like any outfits or anything for me to get, like to change my cat's appearance or change like the way my cat looks, for example? Why weren't there like, oh, this is how you want your cat to look, like at the start of the game, for example? Why was it always
Yeah,
the ginger cat?
that's interesting. It would have been a. People would have enjoyed that. People like dressing up cats
Yeah,
for some reason. I've never understood
but yeah,
myself.
exactly. Like, would you have modeled it after one of your cats, Oliver?
No, no, I don't
No.
like my cats.
Oh right, okay.
It's just so I asked the question: Are you so are you like cat people? Or are you dog people? Or are you just
I
Well,
much
one
prefer
of my
dogs.
dogs just walked in the room, so
yeah? So
I'm dog people. I had cats when I was very young. Oh, you'll like this. One of my cats was called Banjo.
yeah, fucking loser.
I didn't name it. I was like 2, but I don't remember the cat. So
Yeah, no banjo. Lewis.
Yeah, I'm more of a dog person. Also had cats when I was younger. I like cats like a lot, but I just prefer dogs in general. Cats can be like actual. The thing with cats and dogs is I feel like dogs are always just going to be nice and loyal to you when you get them. Cats are just assholes half the time.
Oh yeah.
And even though they might like pretend that they like you, and I feel like they don't actually like you, they're just sort of like they're just using you for like food and shelter. They don't actually like you. But I don't know. I like cats. Dogs are better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I do love my cats. I love them, but I would much prefer to have a dog kind of thing. Like I'd prefer to have a dog as well, and maybe we'll do at some point in the future when maybe when we buy a house. But like the cats just sort of like you say, half the time they do not care if you're alive or dead.
Yeah,
at
that's
all.
good.
Like you'll walk past them and they'll look at you as if you've shot them. You know what I mean? They're just not happy at all with your presence unless there's food in your hand. In which case everything changes. It's very selfish creatures. Very selfish.
Yeah,
So let's get into the story of the game a bit. Well, we're not going to spoil anything. But like, so the game opens up, and you're a cat in a group of four other cats.
Yeah.
yeah,
And as you're exploring, you get your cat that you're playing as ends up falling. It never gets a name, but it ends up falling. And gets separated and gets essentially you go through a wall into a city full of robots, and these robots are stuck in this wall, and the game is all about getting out of there and helping the population of this city like escape, while also finding out exactly what happened to the humans, why they're trapped in there, etc. So it's an interesting story. I just think it could have been fleshed out a little bit more. If you know what I mean, like when you find out like exactly what happens to the humans and stuff like that, it's mentioned in passing.
Yeah.
You know,
Essentially.
you know what I mean, and yeah, I just think it could have been more. To be honest with you, and they should have named the cat like the robot, like B12 should have named the cat at some point.
Yeah, I don't know why the cat didn't have a name, to be honest,
Yeah.
like at all. I thought that would have been part of it. I also the initial cutscene when the cat falls, it was kind of sad at first, but then I watched the cutscene back, and it's kind of really funny because the cats just look at him. No, because the cats look at him, but they're not in distress or anything. They just sort of look at him.
That's what a cat do in
Yeah.
real life. The cat would
Yeah.
watch another cat
Bastard.
fall and just look at like disdain. You know what I mean?
Like-
Absolutely no emotion.
Yeah, like I thought, I don't know, it'd be like some Lion King shit, and everyone would be like, "Oh no, he's falling," but they just literally all wag the tails and looked at him. We're just like, "Well, he's
And then
gone."
they turn around and go, right, well, he's dead.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Bozo.
But yeah, I do get what you mean. I feel like there was some stuff that they could have done a lot more with, but for a 30, was it even 30? Is it 30 quid? Or 25 quid? 20 quid
Something
even
like that,
maybe?
Yeah.
For like a 20 quid
Oh,
like
what?
contained like 5-hour experience, I think they did what they needed to do without dragging the game on too long. Because I think I'll be the first one to admit, if this game was like an extra 5 hours, it would have dragged really hard, and I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it anywhere near as much.
So
Like, if the game ran on any longer, I think I honestly would have had enough of it. Because it wasn't presenting any new mechanics or like gameplay ideas anymore. I was just sort of repeating the same thing, but in a different area.
Yeah, £25.
£25. I'm just looking at what other games. So it's developed by Blue 12 Studios. I'm just looking at what other games.
B12.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
That's why it's called B12.
that's
There we
why
go.
it's called
There you
B12. Yeah,
go.
what
If you
else
didn't
have
know,
they
there's
made?
your fact.
All right, so Arcade Geddon, Hourglass, Steve Jackson's Sorcery, and Capcom Fighting Collection. So they've not got a mad portfolio, but the fact this was like picked up by, well, it's published by
Annapurna.
Annapurna, and I think it's a PlayStation and PC exclusive, if I'm right there. I don't think it's coming to Xbox. It's pretty
Probably
big,
not.
pretty big deal, and it's essentially been the big viral game of the past few weeks. Everyone's going mad about it.
I don't know how true it is with Annapurna, but I've heard that Annapurna is owned by a dude or a person who was just a millionaire, and they did it as like a pure passion project thing, and they just wanted to make fun, weird games.
Well,
So they just made the company.
there's definitely been a lot of fun, weird games, to be honest with you.
Well,
Wait,
that's the thing.
no.
All the games that Annapurna like publish are just always really weird games, and they're always games that are like really hit or miss are the greatest of all time. Like everyone goes on about Outer Wilds as being like the greatest game to ever exist, like ever.
I've never played it, but I've always wanted to.
And like all the games they make seem to be like contained experiences, like Stray.
Yeah,
Um,
like Solar Ash and the Pathless and Maquette and things
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Like
I played Maquette.
I do like how it's a company that's just like we're going to just make weird ideas, and if the game flops, then it flops. But if it does good, then great, I guess. I kind of like that because it encourages like creativity. It encourages like creating something new instead of just like making a game because it's safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why this game probably did so well, just in the concept. Because, like I said, no one else would dare make a game like this and put the amount of it.
My dog's got a bit of a cough.
And put the amount of effort and money into a game like this. Like no other company would do that, like at all, because it just wouldn't be worth the time. Like, why make a game for like 2-3 years, probably longer, for it to then just like make no money and do shit? Like most companies would just not be like, no, there's no point. But Annapurna doesn't seem to care. They just make a game, and if people like it, then cool. If they don't, then on to the next one, I guess.
Yeah, I just wanted to retract something quickly. So Blue 12 didn't actually make like Arcade Mageddon Hourglass. Like I said, it's just this website is absolute garbage, and I can't see what things have actually made.
Well,
My dog agrees that it's garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Let me get her out.
well, I was looking on Wikipedia, but
Okay.
but they don't even have a they don't even have a they don't even.
I don't know what to do here. Alex's dog is just dying in the background. Did you get it out?
It's out.
Is that... Sorry, Liz, what were you saying? It sounded like you were stepping on that dog, like honestly.
Yeah, they don't have a Wikipedia page, so I don't know if
No.
they made anything else.
No, I don't think they have. So it's the, you know, it's got a lot of good scores as well from other places, kind of thing. It's quite highly reviewed, so I'm assuming we'll see more of them in the future. So in terms of the gameplay, so my issue with it is like Lewis said, it's very much like a walking simulator. It's a walking simulator with more freedom.
Yeah.
Than the typically like. I like how, especially in like the slums, you could go up to you could like go along the rooftops, or you could go down the streets, all that kind of thing. And you get like a very small contained open world area.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that you can't jump unless you are given the prompt to do so. That's kind of annoying. I kind of understand why they did it, but it just, I don't know, it's slightly annoying to me. So what did you genuinely think of the gameplay of it?
Go on, Liz, you go first.
I mean, the gameplay itself. I mean, like, there was not much to it because, like I've already said, it was just a walking simulator, pretty much with extra stuff to do. 95% of the gameplay, when you weren't running or walking, it was holding X to jump onto something or pressing square to activate like a speech thing or like a switch. I thought the world was built very well, like just from like a design standpoint. Like getting around the slums, I thought it was planned out incredibly well. The way like buildings were placed and the way vents were placed and stuff. It felt natural and didn't feel forced. Like, there's some games where they would have made like the vents and the rooftops like really obvious that you're meant to jump up here or you're meant to go there. And I think the game does a very good job at making it look natural and making the player go, well, realistically, a cat would be able to jump up there. And if you go to try it, it will actually work out the way you think it's going to. And I think from a design perspective, that's done very, very well. And I think that could have been a big detriment to the game if they didn't plan that out as well as they did. Because, like I said, I find it very annoying in games, and it sort of takes me out of it when it wants you to like go somewhere specific or grab onto something specific, and it highlights it really obviously.
Yeah.
Like, guys, like they may as well like put like 10 giant arrows and say like, guys, go here, like jump at this exact spot. And I think the game doesn't baby you too much, which I think is great from like a gameplay perspective and from like a walking simulator perspective, because it encourages what's the word
Exploration.
exploration. Yeah, it encourages exploration, and it makes the world feel real, which I think is one of the things it did the best. Is it makes the world feel alive and real, and it makes it feel like this actual small town rather than just a place for you to like run around. And I think that's honestly what added to it a lot. I think that's what made it so enjoyable to just traverse, is that the city you were in, or the slums that you were in, or the night city that you were in and stuff, it felt alive and felt real.
Yeah.
And that was probably the hardest part for him, to make it feel like this actual living, breathing city rather than just like a little sandbox for you to play around in. But that's like mostly what the gameplay is. Like I said, outside of that, there wasn't really gameplay. What did you have? Like you had like the light that you could kill the enemies with,
That was annoying, that light. I didn't like
that
that
you
light.
could use in bursts, because
Yeah.
it didn't really want you to use it that much.
I know,
Yeah.
but like you used it to so you use them to essentially kill like very very small crab-like enemies, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
but these enemies also come in big pods, and if you use that light to destroy that pod, you can then not use it to kill the enemies that burst out of it. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
annoying, like because the cooldown is so so short.
Yeah.
I think.
Like, I understand why they did that, because they didn't want you just spamming it and abusing it. Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, the game's not meant to be like some weird FPS thing. Like, if they made it any longer or made it more powerful, it wouldn't feel as tense or scary
Yeah.
anymore. Like, you're meant to be like fighting for your life, pretty much. So I understand why they limited that, but like outside of that, there wasn't really much gameplay. Because I said, it is just a walking sim for the most part. There isn't really much else to do, like mechanically.
Yeah.
You just sort of jump up, walk around, run around. That's really it.
You've just reminded me of a part of the game. Again, not going to go into spoilers, but it seemed like it was leading up. So it was around the time of the purple light, and it seemed like
Yeah.
it was leading up to a big boss fight. Do you know which part I'm talking about? With the eyes.
Oh yeah.
What happened with that? That just disappeared.
Yeah, it did just disappear. Yeah, it caused some trouble, and then yeah, we just sort of ran off.
Yeah, no.
But I
don't
think
know.
I was also expecting that. But then after it happened, I was thinking to myself, like, realistically, how would this game have made any sense with a boss fight? Like, up until that point, you didn't really. There was nothing like that in the game. So if it just suddenly sprung a boss fight on you, I think it would have been really, really weird.
I would have settled for some explanation of what it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What it was that we were seeing, because it didn't make any sense.
No, yeah, I do agree with that. That was a bit. It was a bit weird, and I also was expecting a boss to appear.
Yeah.
It did feel like it was coming up. But yeah, Alex, gameplay wise.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Really, it was really fun, like exploring around, especially the slums and the midtown. I'd say one thing that was annoying, which I was asking Lewis about because I could not find it, was because you had to collect these cans to buy from the shop.
Yeah.
I could not find the last can for the life of me. I was looking for about an hour,
Yeah,
like
I had
trying
the
to
same
find this
issue.
can. And then eventually I just jumped up on this one ledge, and that's the only way to get to that one vending machine.
Oh,
And
right,
I was
okay.
like, fuck's sake.
No, I didn't collect all the cans. I think I got one. I think. I can't
Well,
remember.
yeah, you only needed one to buy.
Well, it wasn't even a
Like,
can you needed for that.
easy
It was
to
detergent.
Yeah,
Oh yes, it was. Yeah, you're right.
Detergent.
for the cables.
Yeah, exactly. To make the poncho because the guy was cold or something.
Yeah. No, yeah, I like stuff like that in games where it's like, oh, you gotta get this and this and this to get this. I just like the only thing I already mentioned it before was I just wish there was more like variety with like different accessories and stuff. Like you got like the little badges and stuff for doing optional stuff. Like, oh, you got to find that guy's keys. You got to find these plants.
Where do these
I
badges
think
sit? Where do you see them?
that on
Uh,
you the back of your
Yeah, they're on your cap, but there's no like visual menu to see any of this stuff.
But
You just have
right.
to know.
Okay, so but they do
you,
appear on
It,
your cat's like
just
backpack
see them
thing.
on your cap.
yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be on your cat's backpack on the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think I missed like one or two, so I might have to go back and have a look. For
You will have
those.
missed a few because when I was looking at the list online, I thought I collected most of them because it felt like I did, but I just didn't get a bunch of them. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I got the flower one. I got the music notes. Banjo Kazooie. um, I got the keys from that guy, and then there was one more that I got that I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't really remember which ones I got. It's
Yeah.
arbitrary anyway. I don't know, but yeah.
It's cool, but I would have loved to have seen like because the menu was very minimal as well because there wasn't really like you couldn't really see them on the start menu. I had to press up on the D-pad for some reason to see this. So
Okay. So trophy wise, are you two both gonna platinum this?
I'm gonna play it, yeah, just because there's only a couple of trophies left. Like, it does the worst thing in regards to trophies for any game that I really hate, which is making me play through the game again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not against playing video games again when I really want to play them, but I hate the idea of being forced to. And people, and I say forced, I don't actually mean forced because I don't have to do it. Nothing's like I don't have to get the platinum. It's just I don't like it when to get a platinum trophy you have to play the game again. I always think it's very stupid, and it does one of two things where it's like it either makes me go, well, I've played it already, so I may as well just play it again now because I'm like in the whole mood of it, the whole zone of it. Or it does the opposite, and I'm like, well, I don't want it at all because I don't want to play the game again. So then I just won't play it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I don't like trophies like that. I think it's very stupid. And this game doesn't help because it's also not only do you have to beat the game again, you have to beat it in under 2 hours. So you have to speed run the game essentially, which I'm worried about because I don't
Yeah.
want to do a run of the game
You'd be
and then
wasting 2
overrun.
hours.
Yeah, like
exactly.
yeah, literally.
that'd be devastating.
Yeah, I agree. I really don't like that when trophies make you play the game twice. Like the most annoying one I can think of was Spider-Man Miles Morales, because one of
Yes.
the trophies was just complete new game plus. So you've gotten every single trophy apart from that one. You've got to play the entire game again. I remember spending an entire day just playing it again just to get that one trophy. It's really annoying. It feels like wasted time.
Same.
Yeah.
I remember literally beating Miles Morales, and then as soon as I beated it, I booted up a new game and just did it because I was like, I'm not gonna. If I turn this game off now, I'm not gonna come back to it and play it. Like I'm just not going to. So
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
did the entire game again as soon as I beat it in about like 3 hours.
Which is a
I
shame.
think
again,
I think I waited like a year and then I played it again because I was like, oh,
Probably
I've
the best
got
thing to
3 hours.
yeah, that's
And then
smart.
I just played it again. It was a good time. I'm glad I did it like that because it gave me an excuse to go back to it. And then I think I was missing like 2 other trophies, so I just went and got those while I was playing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a shame because Insomniac are really good with the trophies as well. Like they're
Yeah,
usually
that was like
doing really well.
yeah, because Ratchet and Clank Platinum was really easy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first have you played the first Ratchet and Clank, like the remake kind of thing they did in 2016?
No.
I think it was. So that's not really easy up until a point, and I can't remember exactly what you need to do, but I remember I had to find a specific point in the game and like keep dying over and over again to keep respawning enemies. I think you had to collect like a certain amount of like the nuts and bolts and stuff like that. I think
Yeah.
that was really annoying, but I managed to do it anyway.
Yeah, I'm not someone who's like make the platinums easy. I think platinum trophies should be relatively difficult to get. I don't think it should always be as simple as just if you beat the game, you will get it. Because otherwise, I don't know, it just doesn't feel as special if everyone could just beat the game and they have it.
Yeah.
But if they're gonna do trophies, I want them to at least think about it and make trophies that are fun instead of just going, we're going to make like, oh, you get a trophy for every chapter of the game that you beat the game on this difficulty, you get a trophy. Like when it's like that, it's incredibly boring. I like when they spice it up. Like at least in Stray, admittedly, as some of them are stupid. Like for example, sleep for an hour in game, and that gets you a trophy. I think that's really stupid, and it makes people waste an hour. But I think it's fun. I think it's something interesting to like do. Yeah. Because like I said, I'm just not overly fond of when games are just very straightforward and boring with the trophies. And it's just if you play all these missions and beat this boss, you will get like every trophy in the game. I don't know. I just always found that a bit boring.
Yeah, I like the fun ones where it was like, oh, dunk the basketball. It's like, but I'm a cat. I'm gonna like knock a ball over and like put it in a basketball hoop.
You gotta play Mahjong at some point as well, yeah, with robots.
Well,
you
you just
not even
gotta
that. You try and play Mahjong. You jump on the Mahjong tiles.
All right.
You just ruin a robot's game of Mahjong that they're playing. That's what you do.
Did anyone else get the Skyrim reference that happened?
Oh, that you just reminded me of a reference I remembered. I don't know the Skyrim reference because I hate Skyrim. But go on.
There's a Skyrim. It was like painfully unfunny. I can't. It was like some guy was sat on the floor and he used to say, "I used to be an adventure like you, but I took I don't know, I can't remember what, a screwdriver to the knee or something like that." I just sat there.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That makes sense.
I was sat there, straight face. Was like, I just could have done without that, to be honest with you.
No, did anyone notice the Back to the Future reference?
Doc.
Yeah, because he said 1.21 gigawatts.
Yeah, and he was working on his defluxer as well, like flux
Yeah.
capacitor. And he just looked like Doc. I'm not seeing Back to the Future, and I got it. Yeah, he looked like Doc.
That's just blowing Lewis's mind as well now, isn't it? He didn't realise now.
Well, I didn't realise. I get it now, but I mean, it just seems like they do a lot of references. I mean, that whole
there was probably more that we didn't even notice.
Yeah,
seems like they just packed it full of references.
Did anyone else get any glitches or anything like that? I got one.
Oh, I got one.
I didn't get a single glitch.
I recorded it. Basically, I was jumping around in slums, and my cat like glitched underneath like a little vent, and then I couldn't escape from the vent, so I was just stuck between 4 little vents.
I did see that some people were having like a game-breaking glitch where the cat literally couldn't move. Like when they moved forward, it like rubber banded them back to where they were stood. And I saw a couple people having that glitch. I had no glitches. I was trying to break the game. Like
Classic
the game
Lewis.
the game was a bit janky in some spots where the hitboxes didn't quite like vibe well together, and you could like ram your cat into certain corners and he would freak out. But I was like intentionally trying to like get out of bounds or do something, and I could not get the game to break. So I don't know. It's quite impressive as well because a lot of games that I play usually end up glitching or breaking somehow. So I honestly thought that they just did a good job with like play testing, and just got rid of a lot of the glitches.
There wasn't a lot. I only had one, and it was when you was climbing the skyscraper in the slums essentially. And you're running like you're trying to kind of distracting the crab things so you could like move a platform or something like that and closing the gates on them, and it's just that the gate wouldn't open after the first time. So I was running back and forth figuring out exactly what I thought the gate had like broken in the game.
Yeah.
But no, it was a glitch, and it was rather annoying. But luckily, the checkpointing system is actually quite good. I think the maximum that I saw between checkpoints was 2 minutes, which isn't bad at all.
Yeah, it was really like
you didn't have to. You didn't have to reopen the gate though, because you're a cat. You could have just gone under the gate.
No, I had to move. It was a bigger cylinder. I had to move through a gate.
Oh, the cylinder one.
Yeah.
Right,
so I had to close the gate so the crabs were out, and then move the cylinder up, then open the gate so we get the cylinder out.
Right. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah. No, it worked the second time. It was fine. There was a memory because I was running around trying to figure out where it had gone wrong, and there was a memory there as well that I couldn't get, so it had glitched.
Right. Okay, I'm with you.
Does anyone have anything else they want to say about Stray? There's not an awful lot to say about this game, I don't think.
Yeah, I felt like we recycled a lot of points. Like going over.
Yeah.
It's just I don't even know say. It's just if you like walking simulators, then you'll definitely like it. If you just want to be a cat, it's also the best like cat simulator I've ever experienced. Not that there's many to play, but you do feel like a cat for sure. I feel it's very small, it's very contained. I can't personally say whether it's worth the $30 or the £25 asking price.
I wouldn't buy it.
If you have PlayStation Plus Premium, you can play it on there for free, which is where I played it. It's where Alex played it, and I think it's where Oliver played it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really can't say whether or not, like, after playing it, obviously it's easy to say I wouldn't buy it, but that's because I've already played the game. Realistically, I probably would have been disappointed if I'd spent 25 quid on it and I'd beaten it. Like, I would have been upset. But at the same time, I think 25 quid or 20 quid for a 6-hour experience is honestly not that bad. Especially since, honestly, this compared to a lot of games I've played previously that are like 70 quid games, this one was a lot more enjoyable than a lot of those games that I've played. So I don't know.
It's difficult. With walking simulator games, it's difficult. I don't think I've bought any full price. Maybe with the exception of like the Walking Dead games when they were out, because I was following those quite avidly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I always tend to wait until they're on PS Plus or Game Pass or something, or really cheap on Steam, and then I give them a go.
Yeah.
It is difficult because the story is always really good. It's usually like quite a rich world. You feel quite engrossed in it, but it's just they're always too short. But with walking simulators, they can't be too long or else they'll get boring.
Yeah, they'll get boring. Yeah.
So the only solution is a cheaper game, but the amount of effort that goes into making them that doesn't work, it doesn't work out. It's a difficult place. You need to really like walking simulators. I'll be really excited for it to actually go out and buy one full price, and a lot of people do because they get made. But I think they're prime for Game Pass. Like there's one that's released in the last couple of days. Can't remember what it's called. Like Dusk Falls or something like that. It's the one where it's like the people like static images like a comic book, but then they're in a 3D world. That's come out in the last couple of days, and that's got really good reviews, by the way.
Okay.
But it's on Game Pass. It's prime for that. Just like this is a perfect place for it is on PS Plus.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying now, I wouldn't have played it if it wasn't on PlayStation Plus. Like based on the gameplay that we'd seen, which was basically none, I wouldn't have bought the game prior with that knowledge in mind. No. I only played it because I had it available to just download and go for it. And I hope PlayStation keep doing this. I know they're against bringing like the big the first party Sony releases day one. Like they said no, fuck off, we're not doing that. But I hope they keep doing this and bringing like these slightly smaller indie type games.
Yeah, they've got a lot of studios now. They've got a lot of indie
Yeah.
studios that can definitely do that kind of thing. It keeps people buying PS Plus.
Yeah,
all that stuff. So I think we'll have to see how exactly what happens with PS Plus now. It goes on month to month because if they're going to keep adding stuff to it monthly, then it'll be good to see exactly what they've got in the works. But our average score was a 7 out of 10, so it's fairly good. Pretty good, not bad at all.
Very good.
Where we are. So sometime in the next couple of days, we're gonna have our next episode of Hyrulean Chronicles up for a Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. And then towards we got on the 25th, we got a tier list for, is it the cartoons one? Cartoons ones, the best cartoons to eat with your cereal. And at the end of the month, we've got a video game book club for Prey. But until next time, we shall see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, we would do. There we go.